Hello, everyone. Max here with A1 Website Pro, and today we're going to be talking about the Google Drive folders, directories, mapping, file paths. They're all the same thing pretty much, but I just want to do something. I'm going to show you how to organize those files and folders so that they work for you. But it's important that you get the structure down in your mind first. So before you start going into folders and files and directories, I want you to imagine that you're writing a book, okay? And in this book, we're going to have different chapters. We're going to keep for simplicity's sake, we're just going to call them chapters 1, 2, and 3. So you see here we have our main folder called book. I have a square in red. We're going to move this down a little bit here. Now we have chapter 1, we have chapter 2, and chapter 3 in the book, okay? So this is pretty much like a folder 1, folder 2, folder 3. You could also call these directory. Since we're going now from a book to folder 1, that's given some directions or mapping, okay? So you start with this folder or directory, and then this folder or directory this folder is inside this book, okay? So is number 2 and so is number 3, okay? So just imagine that in your head. All 3 of these are contained within this book. Now, not only that, but each chapter has a different section, a couple different sections. So if we move this down just a little bit further, grasp this concept a little bit better. In the first chapter, we have sections A and B. So we have a folder labeled A, a folder labeled B. In section or chapter 2, we have 2 sections as well. They're labeled A and B. And then in our book in chapter 3, we also have sections A and B. Now, all of this is contained in this one folder called book. All right. So you can grasp the concept of a book having different chapters, and then within those chapters having different headings and subheadings, you know. But now, even within those different subheadings, you may have images, right? So in the book, chapter 1, section A, you may have images that you want to keep in that folder. Maybe in the book in chapter 2, section B, you have images that you want to put in there. So just remember this diagram, and I'll bring it over to refer back as we go over the Google Drive file structure, mapping, folder, directory, all of it's the same thing. Okay, so let's go here, and for simplicity's sake, I am going to take this particular directory and I'm going to open it, but I'm going to delete everything in it. And that way we could start from scratch. Okay, so notice this breadcrumb above here. This is also we start out with my drive, and then I have several different folders in my drive, but I labeled this ones especially for you guys. And let's go ahead and bring the diagram back over. We see that we need chapters 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and there are 3 different folders. So let's go do that. So we'll go new folder. Now I'm just going to name it 1. I could name it chapter 1, but I'm not going to name it chapter 1 because I'm going to take advantage of the chronological order of the how computers organize things. First according to numbers, then alphabetical order. And ironically, a computer can also order things according to time. And I'll illustrate this here in a little bit later on in this tutorial. So here we have the first chapter under AAA. Okay. Let's go ahead and make another folder, and we'll call this folder number 2, which is going to resemble chapter 2 of our book. And then one more folder number 3 for chapter 3 in our book. So there we have our structure as far as the top goes. So what we just created is this right here. So instead of book, this would be AAA, of course. And then we have number 1, number 2, number 3. Okay. So that's what resembles this right here. That's what we just created. Now there's different layouts. If you go over here, you see there's the grid view, and you have my drive, AAA, and then 1, 2, 3. It kind of looks like this a little bit. okay, where you have the folders laid out similarly. But if we go, let's go ahead and scroll down a little bit here. Now we need, within here, we need sections A and B in the first folder. So how would we do that? Well, first of all, we have to double click and go inside this folder, okay? And I'm going to select new folder, and we'll call this one A. And we'll go ahead and just do this one more time. Make folder B and click create. Now notice our structure. Let's show you what we just created. We're going to illustrate this here. We created, of course, the AAA, section 1, or chapter 1, sections A and B. And that's what we created, what's in the orange here. But now we need to create what's in number 2. And I'm going to show you a different way to create sections A and B in chapter number 2, because later on this is going to help you if you're in a folder and you need to create a directory or a folder in another section, okay? So you can just get that laid out in your head there. Okay, so this is how we do it. We could actually go to these folders, we could duplicate these folders, but we'll just go ahead. I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm also going to call it A, just like that. Okay, that's going to be kind of confusing because now we have 2 folders that are called A. But I'm going to create another folder. I'm going to call it B. Okay. Now notice how they're being put in chronological order, A, B, B. Okay, so let's go to a list view. Now, I want to take this to A and this B here, and I want to move them to chapter number 2. So I have A and B within the chapter 2. Okay, so let me show you how to do that. So I got them both highlighted. Now I highlight them both by holding my shift key down. I select one and then I'll select the other. Now I'm going to right click and select move to. And notice here I'm in the number 1, chapter 1 section. That resembles this here, but I could go back right there to get to my number 2 chapter. And I double click that. I'm now in the number 2 chapter, which is where I want sections A and B. See this big blue move here? I'll just click move there. All right. Now if I go back to our AAA and I go to number 2, there we have A and B. Okay. Now if you notice here, if we go to number 3, I still don't have sections A and B. I got to create those directories in there. So let's go to number 2 for just a second. Okay, I'll tell you what, scratch that. Let's just go to number 3 and create our folders in there just to keep it simple. All right, so new folder, label this A, create, new folder, label this B, and click create. Now notice our breadcrumb, my drive, AAA, 3, and we have AB. And that resembles what we have here on our diagram, AAA, chapter 3, AB. Now notice how it's nice and color-coded on my graph here. Well, you can actually do the same thing in your Google Drive. You can color-code your folders. Let's go ahead and we'll go to the grid view. And first of all, that AAA, if you look at the graph, is labeled in red. So let's go ahead, we'll go to my drive here, and I'm going to show you how to do these colors. I'll highlight AAA, right-click, change color, make it red. And now we have a red folder, okay? And if we look at our diagram here, we have orange, blue, and black resembling the different chapters. So chapter 1 is going to be orange. So we'll select it, right-click, and go down here to where it says change color. Make it orange. Section number 2 is going to be blue. So we'll change that color to blue. And section number 3 is going to be black. So we'll change that color to the black. Well, we'll just leave it black the way it is. Okay. So there we go. We have them color coded. And if we wanted to do that to folders A and B. We just change them like so to make sure that we're in the right folder here. A, color code B with orange. And we'll go into section 2, make sure our folders are blue here. All right. And let's go into section 3, and we can see that they are indeed black. Now, if we bring over our diagram here, and we go down a little bit further, we see that we have images in folder A or AAA, Chapter 1, Section A and B in Chapter 2, and A and B in Chapter 3. So we got to go create these folders in each one of these directories. So let's do that, starting with Chapter 1. If you can, try to work chronologically like I'm doing here. That way you get it mapped out in your brain better as well. So I'm going to right-click, New Folder, and we want to call this Images, like so. Now notice it's not color-coded, so we're going to have to color code every time. So there we go. And let's go ahead and go to Section B in Chapter 1. And we'll give it a folder name of Images. Color code it to orange. Alrighty then. We'll go to 2. A. Images. And we'll color code this blue. Go to Section B, create another folder, call it Images. Once again, color code it blue. And then number 3 is going to be already done for us, so we're not going to have to worry about that because it's all black. So now, are we starting to understand the directories and how they're organized and mapped out? And that's the important thing. So whenever you start having the directory issues and organizational issues, you always want to refer to the root system on a tree, how it branches out. And that's what makes it really nice. Now let's start with files. I'm going to get a couple of images. We'll navigate to Chapter 1, Section A. And then in Images here, we're going to upload a couple images. So here's a couple of pictures of my beautiful children, and I'll just highlight them both. This is my Windows Explorer, so I'm just going to upload them right here, just like so. You see that we have those images uploaded. Sometimes whenever you're uploading to Google Drive like this, they won't show until you'll click back on the button and double click on images. Now we get to see both of them. And so sometimes that happens, even though it's uploaded and you don't see it. But in order to verify that it's there, you can click back one and go. Now I want you to take notice of something else. Notice these 3 little dots. We got My Drive, but what happened to the AAA and the number 1? Well, they're hidden within these dots because what's happening is that the file path is getting too long to be displayed, and sometimes they'll get really long. But in order to see it, all you have to do is click on those 3 dots, and Google will show you the file path that you're in. So we're in My Drive, AAA, number 1, Section A, Images. Okay. Now let's say that, oh, this image here is in the wrong place. This image is supposed to be in Chapter 3. Let me go ahead and bring this mapping over so we can visualize it better. Right now, we have our image in this folder right here, okay? But let's say it's supposed to be in Chapter 3, Section A in the folder called Images. So we got to move the image, Max and Kids, from here to here. Well, how would we do that? Well, let me show you how. You highlight the image, make sure it's highlighted in blue there. Right-click, select the Move To option. And once again, we're going to use this back button. We'll go to A. There's number 1. Here we get number 3. And then we select the folder A. So let me just show you what we're going here. We're going from 3, section A, images. 3, section A. And we don't have a folder called images in here yet, right? Should have, but we don't. So we're going to create a new folder, and this is how you create a new folder. Images. And then we'll hit create folder. We see that this folder is empty, and so we're going to select move here. Now notice that the image disappeared out of here, Macs and Kids. So we have to go back to the AAA folder. Go to chapter 3, section A. There's the image folder. And there we go. We have Macs and Kids right there. So that's how you move different files and folders. And it doesn't matter what it is. If it could be an image, it could be a file. So let's go ahead and go into chapter 1. And let's say we're in chapter 1, section B. And we're going to create a new document, a Google Doc. And we'll just call this untitled document test. And testing this out. Okay, that's what we're gonna put on there. Now Google, as soon as you type it out, they save it. So you don't have to go to File and click Save or anything like you have to do on your computer, because Google automatically saves it for you. So I'm just gonna click this little X, and you can see here we have the file called test. Now let's say that we wanted to take this file and we wanted to move it to chapter 3, section B. So once again, we would right click, just like we did on the photograph, select Move To, and click back till we get the 3 chapters. So number 3, section B. All right. Now this folder is empty. There's not an image folder in here, but we don't want to put it in image because it's just a document. So we're just going to click Move Here. Now let's go verify that that document's been moved there, because we see that it's disappeared from here. So we'll go AAA, number 3, section B, and indeed, there we have our documents. All right. So the things that you need to grasp is you can move these things wherever you like, using the Move tool. But if you can just grasp this file path and you can utilize it to your advantage. For example, let's say that if you wanted to take advantage of the drag and drop feature in Google Drive, and let's say that you just want to move test into the AAA folder, all you would have to do is take it and drag it up into the AAA folder, and notice it disappeared from AAA 3B, but if we go to AAA, now we have the test here. Now, if we wanted to throw it into the number 2, one thing that you'll note, if you grab it and try to, if you have any more than one document and you're in the list view, let's go ahead and try this here. You notice how it just starts highlighting the all of the folders. So what you want to do is you want to click on it once, have it highlighted, click on it again, and we'll move this into chapter 2, and just like so. And that's how you can drag and drop. Okay, so we'll go right here into 2, and voila, there it is. All right. Now another thing that I wanted to go over with you is notice that we have our file paths right here, but right underneath here we have name and we have this arrow up. Okay, this arrow up means it's in ascending order or descending order. If we reverse the direction, notice it goes 3, 2, 1. Let me click the arrow again. It goes 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's how you can organize according to the name, and then you can have it in an ascending order or descending order. So, and that works even with the alphabetical order too, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. If you wanted to know which one you last modified. If you want to organize by the time, you would just click by last modified. And you could click last modified by me, and then you could reverse these around by ascending and descending order. Okay, but I think the main thing is ascending by organize them according to the name, and you'll be able to get your organizational structure for your file paths and directories down. All right, I know this has been quite a lengthy tutorial, but trying to understand file paths and directories, breadcrumbs, and all that stuff can get confusing. So I just wanted to spend a little extra time and show you guys how to do this, especially for my friend Jerry Kyle. And I will get this uploaded, and hopefully you guys like this video. Share it with your friends or anybody else that's having any issues. Send them my way. I'd be glad to help them. This is Max with A1 Website Pro. I'll see you in the next tutorial.